Hi guys, and welcome back to MyDankDog. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, giving me a like, dropping me a comment or any feedback. It's much appreciated. I love making these videos and I love your support too. I do appreciate it, so keep it coming. Let's get into it. Recently, the Vivosun team invited me out to meet them at BizCon Las Vegas 2024. Not only did they show me some of the awesome products that they've got due for release in 2025, but I also got to wander the rest of the event for 3 days. It has everything on offer from production, retail and cultivation, but I just wanted to see what it had for me as a home grower. Let's get into it. And we're off to the races. I made sure to pack some of the essentials, including some good reading for the flight, as well as saying goodbye to this guy who manages to make me feel guilty every time I leave the house. An Uber to the airport is $200, which would mean $400 in total. So I decided to park my car at the long-term parking at Vancouver Airport. Hadn't flown for a while and I hadn't been to Vegas for about 10 years. So I remember Vegas as being a very kind of horrible and awesome place at the same time. It's got a lot of sketchy stuff and it's got a lot of bling, 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 bling. But there's also some really cool things to see. But I wasn't going there for a party and I had to remind myself of that in my head. The flight is pretty short. It's only 3 hours from Vancouver to Las Vegas, so it's a pretty easy flight. There's also no time difference between Vancouver and Vegas, so we should be good to go as soon as I land. You're soon reminded as you fly in over Vegas just how wonderful it looks, but no time to party. As soon as I got there, I fell asleep, and in the morning I woke up and I visited Cookies. I'd heard a lot about this place online and decided to visit it to see whether it was everything that everybody raved about. I also spotted the Planet 13 and the Dazed Consumption Lounge on the back of taxis everywhere, so I paid a visit. For those who don't know, Planet 13 is the world's biggest dispensary. It's an experience. So stay tuned for the full episode dedicated to Planet 13 coming soon. Then I headed over to BizCon registration to pick up my passes. The exhibitors had already been here for about 2 days prior, setting up their booths. And basically, I was not prepared for how big it was. I took a quick explore whilst the exhibitors were still setting up some of their booths, and I was blown away by just how big this event is and how much there was going to be to see and explore in the coming days. On the way out, I picked myself up some good reading and headed home to get some food before going out on a bit of an explore around Vegas. I wanted to see the Sphere. Guys, this is mind-blowing, especially if you've had maybe an edible or two or something or other. It was just hypnotizing. I could have stayed there for hours. I just kept walking backwards and forwards. It was mind-blowing. I also took a walk down some of the other streets. I was tempted to go and visit the big Ferris wheel, but then I remembered I had the munchies and decided to go for a wander instead. Vegas and the Strip is probably one of the best places to just wander aimlessly, especially when you're baked. I'm not a big gambler, but I put a few dollars in the slot machines and then just went off and explored all of the lights. I've seen them many times before, but I can tell you it's one of the best things to see a little bit baked. I also headed down to Fremont Street, and that place has definitely changed. The show that they display on the roof turned into one of the most trippy psychedelic experiences that I've ever kind of encountered. So I was up and down this street for about an hour, just kind of like, what the hell is going on? It was crazy. Really, really good fun. On my way to the BizCon first day, I spotted this Royal Queen Seeds sign and jotted down the booth number. I definitely wanted to pop in and speak to these guys, but my first day was pretty much dedicated to the Vivosun booth, the Vivosun team, And then the rest of it was exploring and trying to figure out what I wanted to record and get details on. The event is huge. It's hard to kind of break down just how much there is to take in. 3 days is definitely not enough to visit every single one of these booths and talk to every single one of these people. So basically, I just explored, took notes, and then revisited the booths that I thought were relevant to me and that you guys might find interesting too. When I arrived at the Vivosun booth, Stephen, the product director, was busy showing some of the MJ BizCon attendees the new products coming from Vivosun, especially the DWC addition to the VGrow Smart Grow Box. I have the Grow Tent Pro kit 2x4, just like this. It's an amazing kind of thing to look at. I love the style of the aero wing lights, especially with the incorporation of the fan at the top. I think that's a really great design. But one of the things that I don't have, which is obviously on display inside this setup, is the supplemental lighting, as you can see. So I'm really excited to see when this is available and ask Stephen how I can get my hands on it for my Grow Tent Pro kit too. But at the bottom here, there's the self-watering bases that you may be familiar with inside the VGrow, and also that you can buy for use inside your regular tent setup too. Vivosun also arranged for me to talk to Shane from MyGrow. This guy's been at it for years. He has a channel of over 100,000 subscribers and is a wealth of knowledge. So quickly before we started to chat, I showed him some of my grows on Instagram and asked him, if I was a beginner, what are some of the fundamentals to know?
Well, I've just looked at your Instagram account and I've seen some of the stuff you're growing and I'm pretty impressed with it. So a successful grower is not one that spends all their time and energy. It's one that has learned all the little tips and tricks to minimize the amount of inputs that you need to still produce a great harvest.
So is there anything you'd avoid?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, I think you know, trying to do too many things at the start is a trap that you can fall into, because if you start adjusting things and changing things, particularly multiple things at the same time, you're not sure what's having an effect and what's not. The starting simple, I would say soil grow, hand feed, be careful not to feed too much. So hand feed. Basic tech, so you know, not the cheapest light, but you know, 2 up from the cheapest light, and just get a number of grows under your belt. And that's the advantage with autos as well. You have a shorter cycle time, so you're going to get through, you know, more grows in the year.
Yeah.
And the last one, I think, just as a simple little one for being more productive, is start your seedlings 3 or 4 weeks before you need them. It takes an awful long time for them to get to even just this height.
That's a good tip.
And especially with autos, they shoot off from there.
Yeah.
Once they get to this height, they're gone.
Yeah.
But if you have a cycle time of say 10 weeks, for example, in your tent, 4 weeks before you know you're going to be harvesting or thereabouts, pop your next seeds.
Yeah.
And you can even put them into your tent in the corner.
Yeah.
And just in a little pot,
get the overlap,
getting them ready
basically.
and have an overlap, make it more productive.
I chatted with Shane for about 20 minutes, so can't show the entire conversation here. I may re-edit it and put it out as a specific episode on its own, or try to touch base with him again and ask him some of the questions that I thought after chatting with him. Whilst waiting for Stephen to give me a rundown of the new products from Vivosun, I checked out the DWC and Grow Cam in the VGrow Smart Grow Box. They are some of the things that are top on my list to try. The DWC is amazing. It's a fantastic addition, and a lot of people have already been asking me about this since I got back from MJ BizCon. The Grow Cam is just a fantastic addition to anybody that just wants to kind of keep track, that paranoia, keep track of their plant all the time, as well as just record some great footage in time lapse. So really looking forward to those additions being added. Right, let's switch over to Stephen.
We plan to launch the new supplemental lighting. If you look at that, we call satellite. It's a new luminaire series we call Luma Ray. Satellite will provide additional lights for the canopies, and it's very similar to under canopy lighting in commercial grower. So that's something new we will bring to the consumer market very soon. That's the Q1 next year. It's our new Grow Hub A22 and also A10. That's the two new Grow Hub. A22 has the sensor, it's temperature and the humidity sensor together. And that one can also link to our app, like conventional heat and the third-party grow lighting, and link all the third-party product into our SGS system. So this is additional Grow Hub family we will launch to the customer. It will be also Q1 next year. Next new product actually is our Grow Cam. You can install in VGrow also the normal tent. And this Grow camera, you can always see your plants. And in the Vivosun app, you can have the camera and you can do see your plants. You can record the whole process for your grow, for your plants. And you can also download this video and share with your friends. Actually, we call Aero Base. It's a new grow bag. Compared with the normal grow bag, it's not like a one-time use for grow bag. You can wash it. This grow bag has a very special design in the bottom, and in the bottom you can see that. And we use a special material to increase the space. Normally grow bag, there's no airflow. We have a special design, special material inside. There's more airflow in the bottom side, so plant can grow much better. It's really good for drip irrigation system. It will be much better for that solution.
The following day, Rob from CLTV showed up at the Vivosun booth to chat with Ethan, the marketing director at Vivosun. And I also had a quick chat with him about social media, how the industry has changed over the 10 years that he's been involved with it, and what he thinks the future is for home growers.
Same, that's cool.
Yeah, and this is our new grow bag.
The Aero Base.
So
Oh, whoa.
reusable. So you don't
Super
have to,
breathable too.
Right. And the bottom layer. Why is it called Aero Base?
Oh,
It's for
whoa.
circulation, man.
Well, we're here at Vivosun Booth, man, and I'm seeing some amazing new stuff. Blowing my mind when it comes to what the home growers are going to have access to in 2025. I mean, whether it be additional lighting that they're adding in here or potentially future under canopy lighting or other things I'm not going to mention, but dude, mind-blowing. The technology that the home growers are getting, this is why the home grower takeover happened, is so we can come and see what the people are going to be getting in 2025, and Vivosun's crushing it, man, crushing it. Big shout out to them.
Later that day, I went on the hunt for some new beans. I headed over to the Royal Queen Seed booth and introduced myself to the team. I got to speak with Michael from F1 Seed Tech, as well as Max from Royal Queen Seeds, and both of these guys were awesome and ready to help me straight away. So much so that I've got a dedicated grow with Royal Queen Seeds coming out in the future, and a lot more info from these guys.
So at Royal Queen Seed, we have one of the biggest data online on how to grow cannabis. Whatever question about watering, light, seeds, soil, nutrients, we got it all answered. Even about crazy question about DNA, about breeding, you can find everything on our website.
And we are developing F1 hybrid seeds in cannabis. The main purpose of our F1 hybrid seeds is that they are stable, uniform, and they are meant for the professional licensed producer, so they can make the transition from clones to seeds.
Stay tuned for my DWC Grow using Royal Queen Seeds in the future. I can't wait to get that going. Check out the partnership with Royal Queen Seeds and Tyson. They've got some interesting things going on there. Later that day, the man himself, Mike, turned up. He was there to promote Mycadelics, powered by Shroom, at the Advanced Nutrients booth. So I stuck around and managed to talk with Deepak from Shroom, and he gave me the rundown on Mycadelics.
I'm really happy to talk about our newest and latest and greatest product. We are in a partnership with Mike Tyson to launch the Mycadelics V3 heavyweight bag. So this is a 2-pound bag versus our 12-ounce V3 minis. Comes with the same guaranteed and success rate, just a larger bag, where this could take you about 4 to 6 weeks to get mature fruiting bodies. With this, it'll be at 7 to 10 weeks. So it gives you the same bad boys and ready to go. This is Mike Tyson's first official product in the psychedelic space, and we're really happy to be part of his journey.
Mycadelics or shroom is definitely something I want to try out in the future. One of my followers on Instagram saw that I was at the MJ BizCon and messaged me asking if I would go over to the GeneralHydroponics booth and find out what a system reset was. So I headed over there and got the answer for him.
Hi Toby, I'm Tara from General-Hydroponics, and I heard you wanted to know a little bit more about TrueFlow. It's our commercial irrigation line cleaner. It's safe to use with plants or in your system. It is a hypochlorous acid product. We put it in a black bottle to make it incredibly shelf stable, which sets it apart from a lot of the other competitors. It's highly concentrated. It's available January 15th. We have it available in quarts, gallons, 5-gallon and 55-gallon sizes. It lasts in solution about 3 to 7 days, so you want to use that up within it. Other than that, go ahead and put it in with your normal regimen, and you're going to have great success on combating scale and just removing any of those mineral deposits in your irrigation and line systems that may get in the way of nutrient uptake as you go on. So. New irrigation. You got it. Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks very much to Tara from General Hydroponics. You're a great sport and I do appreciate it. After speaking with Tara, I went on another exploration around the MJ BizCon and saw lots and lots of different things, lots of things that I could have stopped and spoken to and recorded for you, but it was starting to get a little bit too much. But I did find this guy in the corner, Jerome Baker, and he was glass blowing or glass sculpting live in front of an audience, making glassware, and it was pretty cool to watch. It was basically watching an artist at play in front of an audience, and it was a good chance for me to try and get my bearings. I was looking for the Grove Bags booth, but I couldn't remember where I'd seen it. I was starting to get a little bit lost and everything was starting to look a little bit similar and familiar to me, so I decided to stop, try and get my bearings and look at a map, which was a good idea. Once I'd got my poop in a group, I decided to head over to the Grove booth via the Raw booth because I'd heard that the man himself was showing up to chat with people at the Raw booth. When I got there, there was a lot of smoke going on from the Raw, and Josh K was having a chat with some reporters, but there didn't seem to be much going on, so I headed over to the Grove Bags booth.
Cool. Hey, I'm Adam with Grow Bags. Here to talk a little bit about our tech. So if you're just getting started growing, if you've got great seeds, if you've got great genetics and you put a bunch of work into growing a really good plant, the best thing you can do for it is give it the same post-harvest care that you did during the grow. So you can get it all the way there, but if you don't dry and cure it correctly, you're not going to end up with anything that's really top shelf or really even enjoyable. So we always recommend folks dry down to about 10 to 12% moisture content. If you measure by water activity, it's around 0.58 AW. From there, once you're done drying, about a 60 degrees, 60% humidity environment, that's when we recommend going into grow bags for curing. So say you've got like a half pound of flour. We typically recommend filling these up about 75% full, leaving about 25% empty, and then keeping the air that's in there. You want to let it just kind of, have that head space so all the gases that are coming off of that flour can accumulate, and then anything else can expel out of the bag. So our bags are a little bit permeable. Previously, past generations, if you've grown in the past, you might have cured with jars where you put it in those jars after drying, and then every couple hours you got to pop the lid off, kind of get the gas exchange happening manually. This does that automatically for you. So after you're dried, get it in the bag, zip it up. You can heat seal as well. Got a bunch of extra material here on the top for you to heat seal, and then you can cut those open and reuse them if you like. Just leave it alone for a couple of weeks. That gas is going to accumulate, be a high CO2, low oxygen environment. These are going to protect from UV, from static, anything that really can harm your flower. Keep it in a fairly air-conditioned, temperature-controlled environment, around that same 60-60 or just room temperature away from sunlight, and you'll have a really great cured product after just a couple of weeks. Some people go longer, you can go a couple months in there. Some people go long-term storage. Definitely seeing some good bud come out of a grow bag that was sealed for a year, 2 years. whatever you got out there can definitely use a good cure. So never skip that step, and we can make it a little bit easier, a lot less labor intensive for you. So, yeah, check it out.
After the Grove Bags booth, I continued my adventure looking for some good genetics, and I eventually found exotic genetics. They were tucked away in a corner, which was not deserving of how good they are. These guys are silver, gold, and bling bling winners across the board. So I was so happy to find these guys. I managed to speak to Jacob.
Yo, what's up? This is Jacob with Exotic Genetics, 50 times award-winning cups. We got seeds for everyone here, beginners, novice, experts. We do it all here. We're at BizCon 2024. We got some exclusive strains. We got some BDP. We got some Destiny. Check us out, exoticgenetics.com. Thank you for the support.
And thank you, Jacob, for the goodie bag. I do appreciate it, mate. I can't wait to get these beans cracking. Stay tuned. One thing that's been high on my to-do list for a while now is a mushroom grow. And I've known these guys from their Shroom Tech kits, so I was eager to chat with them.
Hey, I'm Louis from Spore, and I want to show you a really cool thing that nobody else has. This is our Spore Booster. This little blank liquid culture allows you to inject spores and germinate them into living liquid culture before you inject it into Shroom Tech all-in-one bag. It saves you time and allows you to make sure that you're contamination free. Nobody else has this on the market, and it's going to allow you to grow mushrooms. Within about 8 weeks, you're going to have a bag full of mushrooms. If you want to reach out to us with any questions or learn more, check out northspore.com or email us at info@northspore.com.
Watch this space, guys, because I really want to get a mushroom grow on the go. So stay tuned. It's going to happen pretty soon. This has been my first experience of the MJ BizCon, and I've got to say it's been fantastic, especially when you realize that the technology that once used to be only available to professional or larger scale growers is the technology that is now finding its way into the everyday consumer home grower setups, which just means that the home growing capabilities and the quality of the product that you can grow at home is just going to get better and better and better. And from what I can see, Vivosun is one of the leaders in the pack of that. They're ahead of the game in many of the things that they're talking about that they want to get out in the future. So I'm really happy to know some of the things that are coming out from Vivosun. A lot of them are going to be game changing in lots of different ways, but I can't really talk about them, so you guys are just going to have to wait and see. The MJ BizCon has been a fantastic eye-opener for me. I think I'm going to be a little bit more prepared for when I come back to the MJ BizCon in future. But one of the best things that I've realized and that I can take away from the event is just how big the industry is and just how professional it's become. I am lucky to be living in Canada, where the legalization has been around for several years now, and I can walk into one of several different chains of cannabis stores at will. There's a ton of them on the street. I know that other countries are not so lucky to have the same privileges as Canadians, where we can grow a number of plants at home and also have access to these cannabis stores, but I think it's just a question of time, especially when you come to an event like this and you realize that the amount of industry, the amount of professionals, the amount of just forward thinking that is going on in this industry is unstoppable now. So it's very refreshing for me to see the amount of intelligence, innovation, and fun that is basically still involved in this industry. And I'm happy to be a part of it. And I'm truly thankful to Vivosun for inviting me out. Big thank you to Vivosun. I do appreciate it. And guys, thanks to every one of you guys for your support. I appreciate all the likes, all the comments, all of the advice. Please keep it coming. Stay tuned for my next grow. It's a DWC and my beans are cracked and on their way. So I'm going to be editing the first episode of that any day now. Also, stay tuned for more of the edits coming from my visit to Las Vegas. They're in the pipeline too. Once again, thank you very much. Bye bye.